What's up, guys? We are on day 21, and the theme for today is blind eye. We'll be looking at Luke chapter 6, verses 6 through 7, where it says, On another Sabbath, Jesus entered the synagogue and was teaching, and a man was there whose right hand was withered. And the scribes and the Pharisees watched Jesus to see whether he would heal on the Sabbath, so that they might find a reason to accuse him. What a strange, legalistic, and impersonal world. The Pharisees were far more concerned about rules than people. Here was a man whose hand was withered, which means nerve damage, atrophy, a result of what we don't know. Regardless, he was missing the use of his hand in a day and age when manual labor was necessary to provide for oneself, and not to mention a family. In short, his need was great and obvious to onlookers. Yet the religious leaders saw past him to Jesus, the object of their chagrin. This poor, deformed man who had a name, a story, fear about the future, and probably hunger pain was just a pawn and a potential opportunity to trap the man, derailing their world. And Jesus was derailing their world. Instead of waiting with bated breath to hear the Pharisees speak, people were now flocking to the man from Nazareth who continually bent the rules, which made him far more interesting and accessible to the people than the religious leaders ever were. He was unassuming and meek, yet authoritative and confident and articulate, all while doing things no one else could do, like healing ailments, driving out demons, and refusing to cower in the presence of the powerful. So people flocked to him, and he didn't disappoint. But Jesus knew their thoughts, and he said to the man with the withered hand, Come and stand here. And he rose and stood there. And Jesus said to them, I ask you, is it lawful on the Sabbath to do good or to do harm, to save life or to destroy it? And after looking around at them, all he said to him, Stretch out your hand. And he did so, and his hand was restored. The Pharisees were filled with fury, and they discussed what they might do to Jesus, as it was recorded in Luke chapter 6, verses 8 to 11. It's easy to find fault with the Pharisees. They really could be awful. In a few words, Jesus publicly outed them for it. But lest we become just like them in self-righteousness and self-involvement, consider how most of us are like them. Think about the homeless people we avoid making eye contact with as they hold cardboard signs near traffic lights, and the understaffed soup kitchens, under-attended mission trips, and underfunded relief organizations. Let's be honest, most of the time it's easy to ignore the need. Our hearts are in fact calloused from exposure to so much of it. We often don't give needy people a second thought. Sometimes we feel annoyed and put upon another person at another light. We thought, how much loose change can I expect to carry? And yes, like the Pharisees, we sometimes feel resentment toward those we accuse of trying to make us feel guilty. But like the man with the withered hand. They have names and stories. They have fears about the future and hunger pain. Never mind the possible reasons why their need is great. Their need is obvious, and like the Pharisees, we have much to learn from the Nazarene who never turned a blind eye. So the prayer today is, thank God He didn't turn His eyes from your need. Repent of what you've behaved like a Pharisee, and ask Him for the same heart for the needy as Christ had. Obviously, okay, here is the response. Here's the moving forward reflection questions. Obviously, we can't respond to every need, but think of a time you could have, but didn't. Why did you turn away? How could you handle it now if you got a second chance? Obviously, we can't respond to every need, but think of a time you could have but didn't. Why did you turn away? How would you handle it if you got a second chance? Why did Jesus respond to needy people the way He did? Why do you think He saw what do you think He saw when He looked at them? Why did Jesus respond to needy people the way He did? What do you think He saw when He looked at them? List some ways you could react to obvious need in the future, in addition to giving money. That answer is too easy about the giving money part. How list ways you could react to obvious needs in the future, in addition to giving money. And I will conclude our time for day 26 with the theme of blind eye. I really actually like this story because I felt like Pharisees, like they are well respected among the community, and because not all Pharisees are bad, but there are some twisted ones. And to think about how there may be people in our life that are well respected, but do they always have the best intentions in the world? Not just for you, your family, but for those people who are always in need. I feel like for me, I see Pharisees like my classmates, my peers, right? It's I know a lot of them act very immature, and in a sense where, I want to be like the Pharisees are basically the crowd, right? And so my peers are basically the crowd that I am surrounded with. So I want to be like the Pharisees. I want to be like my peers, even though they lead with bad examples. But I don't want to make this a thing where it's all your peers are bad, because they're not. There are some really kind and mature peers that we have every day. And so can we look at it, find the difference between those people who are the Pharisees-like people, or those who are more like anti-Pharisees, who are not only respected in their own community, but their actions shows that by being kind to those who are in need. And so may you have the eyes to open to be able to see and tell the difference between those who are considered good Pharisees and those who are considered bad Pharisees. And may you go and walk with God.